Tuesday, the 11th, 7 p.m. And then the zoning board of appeals. Everybody stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Four board members present. We have a quorum. Board members are all signed in. We're gonna have a public hearing. Anybody that wants to speak, I'm assuming somebody has a sign-in sheet out there. You need to sign in or we don't get.
No, there was no signing machine.
On the table, it's been up there.
You gotta be proactive here.
And sign-in sheets, the one
Always
with
gone.
the gray and white.
First order of business is approving the minutes there. Last meeting.
As usual, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes as presented from our last meeting with a comment after it's done.
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Yeah, I just want to say officially, thank Joe and Mark for all the work they do on our minutes. I know sometimes we don't give it the recognition that we should. But I can tell you from a personal standpoint, I read these minutes before every meeting, so.
Well, Mark does most of it. I just verify everything and adjust it.
Well, like I say, I mean,
I
I think,
appreciate what Mark does. He saves me a ton of time.
yeah, you do a great job. Both of you guys do a great job on this. And I know a lot of times I blow it off because I always ask to accept the minutes as published, but I do read them. And I appreciate all your work. I think that the time we have here at the meeting is better spent on new business than on the old business,
Right.
since we have such a high rate of pay here for the board members, particularly Carl.
The truth, yeah.
But so just officially,
I'm
thanks.
here for the love of the game.
That's right. So officially, I ought to say thank you for your efforts. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not over.
That's all I got.
Well, thanks.
That was very, very profound.
Very nice. I was gonna laugh at him.
Okay, first order of business, we have three things on the agenda this evening. The first one is a public hearing for consideration of a front yard variance at 210 Panama Avenue. Christine Klein. You guys looked at your pamphlet there. She is
Yes.
looking for a variance in the front yard. They want to install a porch. I believe it's only 6 by 10 on the front of the home.
Correct.
Basically just a concrete stoop there at the moment.
Yes.
Is Christine present?
No, she's not.
She's on her way over, Mark, but if you want to explain this, that would be nice.
It's a petition for variation then to allow for improvement of the front porch to replace the stoop and stairs with an overhang, a canopy, a new, well, I'm not sure if, I think they're going to redo the stoop and stairs as well. She told me that it will extend so that the new setback would be reduced to just over 20 feet. So it's about 9 feet extending into the 30-foot front yard. She would have to display to you the plans, the actual plans that she has. I think she has some drawing. I don't think it was included in your package, but perhaps it is.
Yeah, we got it right.
She's here now. Mark.
There she is.
So for this public hearing, let me say for the record, there was a notice published in the newspaper in the Daily Herald on July 21, 2020. A certificate of publication has been issued and is on file with the village clerk. Ms. Klein will have to verify for you that she posted an appropriate sign and mailed notice to the neighbors when she arrives. You may decide to set this aside, take up the other matter first if those folks are present.
Christine is here.
She's here now, Mark.
Christine is here, Mark.
Okay.
She's right under your head.
Hello, Christine.
Hi, Mark.
So if you would at least first recite, take an oath from the court reporter and then recite your posting of notice and mailing. And then if you could explain a little bit about what your project entails, that'd be good.
Okay. Swear the testimony of Williams Cosby, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, thank you. Okay, so I did send out registered letters to all my neighbors notifying them of the hearing. And then I also had to send a follow-up letter because the original meeting was rescheduled and they didn't tell me, and I had already sent out the original ones. So I have two. I have an invoice from Signorama. My sign has been posted since the 15th of July. I changed the date on the sign after they changed the meeting.
Even put it back up after it got blew down last night.
I just pulled in from Wisconsin and it is still standing in my yard. So I don't know if my neighbors put it back up,
Okay.
but it is still there. Okay, so, you should have had in your packet a couple of renderings. Yes, that's what my house looks like today. And then the points that I would love to put on front of my house.
Okay.
The house sits right at the 30-foot setback. So by extending that top peak that's over my front door currently, I'll technically be extending the structure into the setback area.
By 6 feet.
6 feet and then the stairs, so
Right.
a total of 10 feet.
Now, if I read, Christine, if I read this correctly, the house currently sits exactly 30 feet. But you already have steps there, there's got to be 3 or 4 feet,
The steps currently are 4 feet.
4 feet. Okay, so theoretically, you're only gonna go a couple more feet out.
Right,
So it's not like 9 or 10 feet, it's only probably 2, maybe 3 tops.
right.
Okay,
And I also,
no,
4 to 10, 6 feet.
Gonna go 6 feet out
yeah,
and then however further the steps go.
but the steps are already 3 or 4 feet.
The current,
Oh, okay.
the current
Yes,
whole stoop with the stairs.
right, because the survey shows the house set back exactly 30 feet.
Right,
But it doesn't include the 3 or 4 feet of the existing steps that are already there.
right.
Okay,
I did meet with, the building department to see if there was some other way I could do it where it wouldn't be intruding into the setback. Like I tried just to do the peak and then cantilever it attached to the house, and he said that still counts as going into the setback. So there was really nothing I could do, except replace the existing concrete stoop, which is all rotting and the rails are detached because of the concrete has deteriorated.
anyone here from the neighbors?
Nope.
If nobody has any more questions for him, we'll close the public hearing. Anybody else report any discussion or anything?
No, sir.
No, it's.
I'll make a motion to grant the variance as presented.
Okay, I'll second it.
Hang on,
Take a roll call.
I will. All right, Bill,
Yeah, aye.
so aye, Carl,
Aye.
Hank,
Aye.
all ayes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, that was easy.
All right, Mr. Chairman, that would conclude the matters needed for the court reporter. Pretty quick. There is another matter on the agenda. It is not a public hearing, however. It's just a presentation for your consideration to make a recommendation to the Board of Trustees.
Sorry, you cut it even pretty short.
Well, I'll just say it was a pleasure again.
Wasn't even hardly worth the trip.
Take us with you.
Okay, the next thing is the consideration of a petition for general variation of our community graphics regulation under 612-4 and 12, by truck drive relating to the sides and or height of a certain wall sign, freestanding pole sign, freestanding highway sign, and a directional sign on the front. Do we have somebody here from
Yes,
the said local?
I'm Sam Gayer. Nice to meet you. And Mike Silver.
Can you tell us a little bit what you're doing?
I'm looking at yeah, you can go. Sure. No question. Yeah, Mike Sobel with Mark Your Space.
And Sam is the general manager, correct?
Yeah.
What was your name again, sir?
Mike Sobel, S-O-B-E-R. So you're asking for a couple of variances, or a couple of new variances. The first two are for wall signs that go on the building. There's a note that we work on Detroit Auto engines and Cummins engines. The second two are lettering that would go over the entrances for truck sales and service and parts. So there's two different entrances for people to go in for those two different types of services. And they want to make it really clear for people as they're in the parking lot. That's the first section, wall signs. The second section is the freestanding highway sign. The variance, a pole sign is allowed, and they want to go increase the allowable size to 260. It's currently allowed at 120. And then the section 3 is the freestanding pole sign. Currently a 20-footer is allowed. They want to increase the height, they want to increase the height from the maximum allowable of 16 to 20, and they want to increase, and they want to use 80 square feet rather than the 115 square feet that are allowed. And then number 4 is allowing a ground sign directory as you come in, so that truckers and cars know which direction to go to particular services.
Okay.
And there should be rendered in the packet of each of the signs that we identified.
And the board members should have photographs showing those different signs, correct?
Yes, we do, Mark.
Okay.
It seems like our statues on signs at the truck stop.
Is this, Mark, is this anything for unusual in this request that we haven't had before us before with anybody out there in that area?
I don't think so. As you know, in part because of the bowl shape of that territory, because of I-90 and US 20 there, the village has considered and approved different variations from its sign regulations, item by item for Speedway and for Love's in particular, and the name escapes me now, the redo of the old Shell station, Marathon, right? You know, they've been able to show you some particular concerns or needs that they, you know, want to capture the attention of those travelers in that area so that they can get to the right spot on the properties. And for that reason, the village has allowed some reasonable variation of the sign regulations in that territory.
Okay.
How does your pole sign relate to the Love's pole sign?
It's shorter, and it does not have tenant panels on it. The left sign has tenant panels underneath. I think there's 3 different panels on there.
Yours is about the same or shorter.
It's shorter. Yeah, it's smaller.
What did it say, is yours 60 or 80?
60 foot.
60, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's.
I just my personal view. I looked through here, I didn't really see anything that was above and beyond that. I kind of asked Mark if he thought there was anything that was an unusual request as to anything else we've seen.
Well, what portion of the sign is gonna be 280 square feet? That's pretty big.
So if you take a look at your drawing, the face at the top, we have the truck country on it.
This one?
That is the smaller sign. That's the 20 footer.
Okay. Mark, anything in these requests that you consider to be unusual?
Did I consider, what was the end of that?
Unusual? Because you had indicated that, you know, my question is anything in the request or the petition for anything that you would consider unusual in terms of what we did with Love, the Speedway and all the other places over there?
You know, I think somebody just noted that the freestanding sign would be 260 square feet at 60 feet in height. The
Yes.
limitation is 120 square feet, so that's quite a bit larger. But you can look at the depiction of it and make a determination if you feel that's too big.
I think the love sign is considerably larger.
Yeah. Oh, in comparison to the love sign, what part of the love sign is considered the sign face and what part is considered, I mean, then
Technically, the entire top portion is considered the sign.
when you say top portion above the gap,
No, including the tenant panels at the bottom.
including those two? And that's only 90 square feet?
No, that one's like 500 and some square feet.
How's it shown? It's a sign face 5 by 18.
Oh, that's just one panel.
Where's that?
One tenant panel is 5 by 8.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
And that's
they're
280
huge.
square feet, I didn't think it was
Yeah.
a huge sign.
Well,
Once again, common sense and logic would tell you there's
Yeah.
a lot more letters in truck country than there is in Waltz.
Very good, I like
the
that.
sign that's 280 square feet doesn't have any separate freight truck on it. It just says freight line.
Right there,
Pretty much the same.
Yeah,
compared to Waltz.
Overall, I don't have any objections.
you know, Mark, my position has always been, we try and be consistent, somewhat consistent over at the truck stop, because as soon as we approve one thing, and somebody comes back and say, we asked for the same thing, and you said no, so.
Seems like everybody.
And I'll say what I say every time we have one, it needs to be.
It should be different.
Board would make it
Right, exactly. We should have separate statutes.
just separate every signage.
Just ask Josh, I asked Josh to do some research on that, and you just have 2 minutes, we can do it after this motion, but I would like to address the issue of a separate vote or separate requirements for the truck stop.
That would be great.
We could do that after. This.
All right. Yeah, overall, I don't have any objection, but I'm just concerned with the 280 square foot sign, the wind resistance.
So
That's a pretty good sign.
there will be stamped engineered drawings for the build of that sign. And it will be built to the spec that the engineers have done the number crunching on to make sure it will not come down.
Okay, I just don't want anybody to get hurt or any,
Couldn't agree more.
or any severe fractures.
Could not agree more.
If that thing were to blow down into 90 during a high traffic situation, it could be really, really
I
disastrous.
would leave that part to the engineers.
That's true. Yeah. Of course, you know, my love of engineers.
Yeah.
I trust them about as much as I do lawyers. No offense, Mark.
Thank you.
No offense, Mark.
Anybody else have any comment, questions? Discussion, all of the above?
Sir,
If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval for the general variation to community graphic regulation 16-12-4 of the village code filed by truck country property at 205 Matrix Drive relating to size and or height of certain wall signs, freestanding pole signs, freestanding highway signs, and directional signs on a premise.
I'll second.
Take a roll, please.
Yep, I am. Okay, myself, aye. Carl? Aye. Hank?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to express our gratitude to the truck country people who were terrific to work with their construction and the whole building process.
We invite all you to come out if you get a chance to tour. We'd love to show you around and show you kind of what we're all about and what we do. So anytime that you guys want to come, please let us know. It's always open invitation.
We appreciate that.
Buy a truck, we love it. We're kids, so we're.
Did not have to get a variance to park in my driveway.
You might know somebody, right?
Yeah, that's right. Great.
No, thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome to
Thank you,
Hampshire.
sir. You're welcome to town.
Thank you. And Josh, thank you again for your help. I appreciate you helping me navigate it.
Great, thank you.
Okay, third item on the agenda quickly is, consideration authorize your chairman to execute and deliver the, finding of fact to sign and deliver to the village board.
I'll make a motion to authorize our chairman to execute and deliver to the board of trustees appropriate finding of fact recommendations regarding items 1 and 2 under new business.
I'll second.
Okay. Do we need a roll vote or no?
Yes.
Aye.
Pardon? Did you say something up there, Mark?
I did. You should take a roll call vote. When we're using the remote system, the Open Meetings Act now calls for roll call votes on everything.
Oh, okay. All right, Carl? Aye. Hank?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Myself? Aye. Okay, motion passes.
Okay,
Mr.
that's
Chairman,
the end of business for the evening, and,
thanks.
Mr. Hedges.
I heard your comments at the last meeting and I appreciated them, so I wanted to take a look into our code and see what we could do about changing it. It turns out that we already have some special provisions, so I'm gonna let Josh address that. But if you would also like, beyond what Josh is going to address, if you'd like further amendments by the village board, I'd be happy to bring that back to your next meeting for consideration. We'll come before you first and then to the village board.
See, the only thing we're trying to attract business, and if we nail them for how many hundreds of dollars to this cost, and we're nailing everybody up there that wants to build, it's just not fair.
I don't disagree, and we passed something very similar for, you did, for Thornton's just a couple of months ago.
Right.
And it may not happen again for a while now that we're pretty well built out up there, but I think it's worth, it's certainly, we want to address your concerns. So if you don't mind, let just Josh have a couple of minutes to explain what the current code actually does, and then we'll talk about how we might change it.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now there's a chapter in the code, the community graphics regulations, and that regulates everything across the entire village. But then there's a special secondary zoning district up by I-90 and 20 that all of this is in, called the interchange overlay district. Mark basically explained that earlier without calling it that, I think. But for example, freestanding signs wouldn't be allowed in a highway commercial district anywhere except for this truck area interchange overlay district. So when you talk about the village board doing things so that, 80 feet should be allowed instead of 60 feet or over 120 square feet, those lines already exist in the code, and it would just be a matter of changing those numbers to make them bigger if this body and the village board both think that that's allowable and you're gonna approve it every time anyway, because you have the last 3 or 4 times. So it wouldn't take much. It would literally just take changing a couple numbers by amendment. That's pretty much it. There's 2 districts up there that have special regulations. It's highway commercial and maybe rural business district, if that's up there. Or office and manufacturing is what it is. So that's, the 2 codes already exist is basically the point that I'm making.
Well, past practice has been that no matter what regulations state, they always want a variance on it. I don't care if it's over here in town or it's out at the truck stop. Somebody always wants one bigger, wider, higher. It's, right? Am I telling the truth? We've been down this road how many times
Resource
that I can
Bank,
recall?
yeah, Resource Bank was the
Yeah,
water monster sign.
sure, exactly.
But if you would like staff to us, we'd be happy to come back to you and tell you what the largest sign was that was approved, or maybe the average sign. If you give us some sort of direction on what you have in mind, that you think would make it easier for the next development.
Yeah.
We could take the largest or the average, you tell us, and we'll come back with something for you to consider at your next meeting.
Yeah. My concern has always been that if we don't recommend approval on one, and then later someone else comes along with something that was similar or even bigger, and we recommend approval of that, we're not being consistent. That's always been my
Right.
view on it.
What you're proposing would eliminate the need for a variance. Which would
Right.
save them the
That,
trip.
just to make us more welcoming to businesses. I think that would be a step in the right
We
direction.
would certainly encourage that for economic development.
I
purposes.
think it might be worthwhile to consider the tallest sign we've let go and the largest area sign we've let go and make that the base.
And then there's also, the last time for Thornton's, it was the number of smaller signs too.
Yeah.
Right, and the total area.
Total number.
Right.
Because if you think about it, I mean, Speedway, Love's, McDonald's, I mean, I can go down to
Oh, yeah.
Super Mix, everybody wanted something different,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Well, we certainly won't call a special meeting for that, but the next time you meet, we'll have something ready for you to take a look at.
Okay,
Thank you very
we
much.
appreciate that.
That's great. All right.
Okay, do we have any, old business to attend to? Or public comment? Or announcement of our next meeting day?
I'm not aware of anything that's pending at this time. Of course, that always changes from time to time, but right now, there's no other petition on file that will need your attention.
Okay,
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank you, sir.
thanks, Mark. If that's the case, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay,
Appreciate y'all coming in tonight.
there you are. Glad to be here.